Hello, friends! Today I will talk about the French melodrama from 1990 called The Hairdresser's Husband. I don't remember. You go for the melodrama. This story began when Antoine was still a child. Mathilde knitted woolen trunks with pom-poms resembling cherries for him and his brother. The trouble was that these trunks never dried. Since the boys were constantly in the water, their privates remained wet all day long. As a result, he got a rash and walked with his legs wide apart. He was very angry with his mother, but at the same time grateful to her because it made him realize that a man must take care of his dignity. He was about 12 years old, and he loved going to the barbershop because the owner was incredibly beautiful in the boy's eyes. A voluptuous woman who wasn't shy about unbuttoning the top buttons of her robe attracted Antoine so much that he went even when there was nothing left to cut, just to spend a few cherished minutes in the chair. While the woman washed and cut his hair, the boy inhaled the unique blend of scents of lotion, colognes, fresh linen, and Madame's body, imagining that he was holding her in his arms. One evening at dinner, the father asks his sons what they plan to do when they grow up. The older boy talks about the professions he has chosen, and Antoine declares that he will become the husband of the hairdresser, for which he receives a smack from his father, and he runs off to his room. Since then, the dream of marrying the hairdresser becomes the main focus of the boy's life, and he can't think about anything else. Many years pass. In the town where the elderly Antoine lives, the owner of the barbershop changes. Now it is run by a sweet young woman. She also serves the clients. Antoine enters the barbershop and asks for a haircut. But Mathilde is expecting another client and can only attend to him in an hour. Antoine remembers how his father once uttered such a saying. A woman is like a crossword puzzle. The harder she is to solve, the sweeter she is when she gives in. Not understanding the meaning, the boy nevertheless remembered his father's lesson. He is transported back to the present time. The man hid around the corner for a long time, watching the empty salon which no one entered. Antoine fell in love for the second time in his life, and now he was firmly convinced that he would marry the hairdresser. The man remembers how once, coming for a haircut, little Antoine encountered a locked door. The object of his affection is lying on the couch, and apparently sleeping. With a pounding heart, the boy examines her legs, exposed more than they should be. And suddenly, the woman's dog nudges her, and the blonde's body falls to the floor. The boy doesn't have time to comprehend what happened. People arrive, and breaking down the door, carry the hairdresser out onto the street. The woman had too much strong drink and passed away. The boy, of course, did not attend the funeral, but from that day on, he couldn't stop thinking about the woman. Antoine returns from his memories, and unexpectedly proposes to the girl without even knowing her name. Mathilde pauses for just a second and then continues cutting, without uttering another word. As he leaves, Antoine apologizes to the hairdresser for his audacity and spends the night under the window of the girl who lives right above the salon. Antoine recalls how in his childhood his father told him that there is no such thing as an unattainable dream. If you haven't achieved it, it means you didn't want it badly enough. 3 weeks later, Antoine returns to the salon. Mathilde is friendly and polite with the client, but during the haircut, they no longer talk. One day, Mathilde can't hold back, and herself returns to Antoine's words. The girl tells him that if it wasn't a joke or mockery, she is ready to accept his proposal. Antoine feels at that moment like the boy whose dream has finally come true, and the couple immediately finds themselves on the waiting couch where they share with each other their names, talk about their interests, and make plans for a life together. And then the girl invites him to her room upstairs. Upon learning that his son is indeed marrying a hairdresser, his elderly father dies of a heart attack. Mathilde also does not attend the wedding and refuses to meet the daughter-in-law. The festive evening is held right in the hair salon, and only Antoine's brother with his wife and his old friend attend. But the small number of guests does not prevent the group from having fun. The brother gives Antoine a gift that makes everyone laugh. Knitted swim trunks with pom-poms, just like the ones they had in childhood. And from their mother, he passes on a black and white photo depicting Antoine with his father. During the party, a random customer enters the hair salon and asks Mathilde to shave his beard, because people think that with it, he looks too gloomy. Initially, upon realizing he came at an inconvenient time, the visitor wants to leave, but Mathilde gladly shaves him without even charging for it. However, upon seeing his new face in the mirror, the client becomes upset. It got even worse. Antoine turns on his favorite Indian music and invites his fiancée to dance, constantly glancing at the clock, waiting for the guests to leave so they can finally be alone. The couple's relationship can be described as fairy tale-like. For their honeymoon, he took her to the very beach where he used to go in woolen swim trunks. But the honeymoon was very brief. He was eager to start a family life with his beloved woman. The newlyweds returned to the barbershop. Mathilde continued cutting hair, while Antoine spent all his free time next to his beautiful wife. On one of the ordinary days, an eccentric man bursts into the salon and jumps into a chair as if trying to hide. His wife follows him in, and the couple has a very emotional scene with slaps and intense glances. Everyone, including the offended husband, finds it thrilling. They already have 3 children, yet the wife is still jealous of him. Barely waiting for the end of the workday, Antoine closes the door and presses his wife against the wall, where the couple shares moments of joy. During their joyful moments, Mathilde repeatedly says that she is very afraid of the day when her husband will stop loving her or lose interest in her. A woman comes into the hair salon with a crying boy who needs a haircut. The visitor constantly complains to Mathilde that the boy is adopted. She has regretted her decision many times and advises the couple not to make the same mistake. The boy hides under the chair and the mother cannot calm him down. But Antoine finds a way to connect with him. He plays Indian music and dances in such a way that the boy quiets down and allows his hair to be fixed. Antoine is pleased that they don't have children, and nothing will ruin his beautiful wife's figure. They have no friends. He always found couples who need the company of others to be suspicious. They also have no close relatives, so they can devote all their time to each other. They are happy, and nothing else matters. He invites Mathilde to dance and promises to buy a lottery ticket, win, and take her on a cruise along the Nile, where they will dance on the deck, embracing and watching the sunset. Mathilde fears that her husband will lose attraction and interest in her. Sometimes she asks Antoine to hug her so tightly that she can't breathe. The man doesn't understand where his wife's fears come from, as he never stops admiring and desiring her. One day, he even takes advantage of the moment when a client, whose hair Mathilde is washing, starts to doze off. And, sitting next to his wife, Antoine removes all unnecessary barriers and shares joys with her, bringing her positive emotions. In 10 years of living together, the couple argues only once, and even then, for some ridiculous reason. Left alone, Antoine smokes one cigarette after another and recalls how he and his brother first tried cigarettes. But at night, Mathilde comes for her husband, and they reconcile, not wanting to waste time on quarrels. To fully reconcile, the couple throws themselves a party. And, since there are absolutely no alcoholic drinks in the house, they use lotions and cologne. The couple has such a great time that, by the time the first clients arrive, they haven't managed to tidy up the salon or get themselves ready. Antoine and Mathilde visit their friend in a nursing home, where a man much older than Antoine talks about the frailty of old age, and about how the relatives who visit him run away as soon as they arrive. After the visit, the couple returns to work, and this day is no different from any other. Only the girl seems a bit mysterious. As soon as the last visitors leave the hair salon, a thunderstorm and heavy rain start outside, making it almost impossible to see anything. To not waste time, Mathilde gets rid of the excess clothing and demands joy from her husband. The couple spends another intimate evening, but at some point, the girl suddenly jumps up and runs out into the rain, shouting to her husband that she needs to buy something for dinner. At the exit, she turns to Antoine as if saying goodbye to him. Reaching the embankment where the water has risen and is churning due to the downpour, Mathilde, without hesitation, steps over the railing. When her body is pulled from the water, a note for Antoine is found in her pocket. In it, Mathilde explains her action by saying that she wanted to leave before her husband's love and desire run out. She wants him to remember her as young, beautiful, and desirable. It seems that nothing changes in Antoine's life. He still sits in the barbershop every day with a calm demeanor. One day, a client who is aware of the old man's misfortune comes in, and just wanted to support him. At first, Antoine offers to wash his hair, then he turns on his favorite Indian music, and together, the men dance, but then the old man abruptly turns everything off and returns to his seat, burying himself in a magazine. Looking up at the surprise visitor, Antoine, with a smile on his face, tells him that the hairdresser will be right over and he just needs to wait a little. Sad and funny. A poignant, absurd, and very touching film about strange people who love each other, as if they are the only 2 people in the whole world. Friends, thank you for watching. Write in the comments what you think about this film. And please don't forget to support us with likes and subscriptions.